Last week was pretty rough. A lot of the things went wrong, and I kind of felt extremely unmotivated. I even struggled to get up in the morning. However, I wasn't worried because 1 week in comparison to 4,679 weeks is nothing. That's how many weeks I will live if I am not going to witness my 90th birthday. But let's be honest, most of us won't make it to 90s because life expectancy in the US, for example, is just below 80 years, 78.6 years. But for some weird reasons, when you are in your 20s, 30s, or even 40s, you assume like you are going to live forever. But the truth is you would lucky even if you are make it your 80s, because if you would live in the Greenland, you most likely won't even celebrate your 70th birthday. Just because you live in the United States, you have an extra 450 weeks. But that's not the worst place to live in because the Senegal men on the average don't make it past the 60. They live 19 years shorter than the average person in the United States. And the Chad men hardly celebrate their 50th birthdays, but even 80 years isn't really as long as you might imagine. If all of your life would be summarized in the little cubics, then this is your entire life. But that's assuming that you are going to be one of the few individuals who are going to hit 100. But in reality, we will have to take out 2 cubics that would be more accurate. How about we try to be a little bit more precious? How about we take a look at your life in the months? If each circle is the full month, then this is basically your entire life. This is when you are born, this is when you hit your 20th, 30th, and finally 60s. And the last 20 years of your life most probably aren't going to be as exciting as your 20s. First month might seem like the long time, but take a moment and think about how fast the last month has passed. In a blink of eye, right? How about the last week? Even faster. How would you look if we measure in weeks? When you think about it that way, it seems like you have an infinite amount of the weeks. So I'm going to disappoint you. If each row represents of entire year, that's how your many weeks it takes to turn newborn into the 80 years old. In the first 234 weeks, you are going to make your first steps and start walking. Your mom will be showing you different pictures to help you to speak, and when you accidentally say daddy, your parents will go crazy. At the week 235, you are going to go to the school for the first time and will spend there over a decade. In your 445 weeks, you will be allowed to drive you in South Dakota. Otherwise, you will have to wait another 55 weeks. Somewhere around there, you are going to meet your best friends and will fall in love for the first time. Fall in love when you are in the nave little kids is the way more romantic than when you are grow up and realize that the world is the harsh place to be in. So if you are still there, enjoy the love because the love isn't going to be the same later in your life. Here you can vote. You are finally treated like an adult. By the way, you can start smoking now. Dozens of the weeks later, you enroll in the college, and that's only when you're allowed to legally drink. 78 weeks later, you will be at your graduating ceremony. Your dad most probably got married here 15 weeks after his graduations, but you won't become time changed, and most people aren't in the rush to get married. At least it's most of the developed world. However, even today, that's when, on the average, most women have their first child. By 28, you will fall in love again, but this time you will decide to marry her. If you find out this was a mistake, here is where you will get a divorce. Of course, you are going to stick to the single job your entire life. You will be changing your job every 229 weeks, but you can't be working your entire life. At 63, you will retire, and if you are lucky, you will see your grandchildren somewhere. around there, because as man as you probably won't make it past the 76, and as the woman you will live a few more hundred weeks till you make it to this dot, 81 years. I am sure that you have a lot of the plans since you are watching this video. You don't simply want to live your life, but at least achieve something. Maybe you want to start your own company, become the singer, a writer, or the head of the giant corporations. You might be in your 20s, maybe 30s, and you believe that you still have time. But how do you think you are going to compare the others great people like the Isaac Newton or Albert Einstein? The Einstein published his theory of the special relativity. Here, Newton invents calculus. Here again, Einstein released his famous formula, and here Newton develops his law of gravitation. The question is, where you is the graph, the what have you accomplished? Don't think for the moment that you still have time. Some of the most famous people you know didn't even make it to their 40s or 50s. Jim Morrison, the famous singer and songwriter, passed away here. Mary Moore didn't even witness her 37th birthday. Martin Luther King passed away at his 39th birthday. JFK was short here. Michael Jordan didn't even complete his 52nd year. Lincoln was assassinated here, and Steve Jobs died out of the cancer right here. In all honesty, you don't have as much time as you think you have. And even if you make your 100th birthday, the entire world will be talking about you. Currently, the eldest person in the world is Kane Tanaka. She is 116 years old. This means her birthday is closer to the death of Napoleon Bonaparte than to the 21st century. When she was baby, there was still Austro-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and the Russian Empire, and the world was a completely different place from what we know it today. She witnessed World War One, the sinking of Titanic, the Russian revolutions, the Great Depressions, World War Two, Sputnik, the moon landing, and how the world thought that the world will end in the year 2000. But it seems like it didn't. But what about you? What are you going to witness in your life? What are the major events that are going to take place in your lifetime? You probably won't witness any world wars, hopefully, because of the manually assured the distractions. But our generations will witness the first person to ever step on the Martian soil, and space travel will be something common among the rich. The ice in the Arctic Sea will completely vanish by the 2037. 2038 we will finally know what happened. The US National Archives will declassify the mystery of the John Kennedy's assassinations. 2050 is the global population most likely to hit 10 billion, and together with global warming, we will witness the biggest refugees crisis in the history. 83% of the Amazon rainforest will be gone by 2100, and hundreds of the species of the birds will be extinct. Somewhere around that period, the internet will be in your contact lines. You will be able to download any movies, songs, website, or the piece of the information of the internet directly on your internet-enabled contact lenses. Chances that you will witness all of this are quite good. Life expectancy was just under 47 years in the 1900, and now it's 2019. It has reached 80s. That's 40 years longer. The amount doubled it. So if the tech keeps growing at its current rate, you probably will live to your 100th birthday and will witness all the technological process that will happen till then. But regardless of how many years you live, 80, 100, 120, eventually there will be the end, and your 100 years that seems longest is literally nothing compared to the age of the humanity, which is 200k years. But life exists on our planet for the 3.5 billion years. However, the planet itself is 4.5 billion years old. How long age 100 years compared to the 4.5 billion years? The universe itself has been in the existence for much longer, 13.8 billion years. And no matter how long you are going to live, the planet is going to exist for billions of the years after you die. And one day it's going to explode and vanish from the existence. In fact, if you think about our planet, is absolutely nothing compared to the hundreds of the billions of the stars that are in our galaxy, and the observable universe is filled with such galaxies that are even bigger. In the middle of the billions of years and unbelievable scares of the universe, you are blasted with the 80 years of experience, once and the only ones. Every second that passes by is never is going to be back. Whether your startup failed or you broke up with your girlfriend, nothing really matters because time doesn't care. It's not going to wait for you or will understand your mind life crisis. You're going to die and turn to dust, and no one wonder even care about you. Every time you feel unmotivated, frustrated, anxious, or just angry that life isn't treating you fair, take a look at your watch. You have got 42 million minutes, and if you are 25, you only have 34 million minutes left, and every minute that is passed is never going to be back. And they are going to pass as fast as your last 13 million minutes. You don't have much time left. What you are going to do?